What if Adrian Peterson played in 2014? This was another theory I had to completely remade because when I first did it, it literally had no changes. But I figured this was like too good of a theory to talk about. I need to do more research on it and try again with better details. And I actually got a little bit better results this time around. So let's get into it. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if? An NFL theory. Adrian Peterson is a running back who's still playing right now, but he was most known for playing for the Vikings from 2007 to 2016. But during the 2014 season, he played one game, but he missed the rest of the season because he was charged with child abuse. His case went on for several months, and he was put on the commissioner's exemption list, which kept him from playing the entire 2014 season. But since he was probably one of the best running backs at his time, and the Vikings did improve pretty significantly from how bad they were in 2013, I always wondered, what if he actually played? Could the Vikings maybe make a playoff push? I was always curious about that, and this is what the theory's about. Now, of course, we don't know how he would play, since he didn't play. He played the first game of the season at the Rams. He had 76 yards. I don't think he had a touchdown, though, but that's not really a good indicator of how he would be. So what I did was I looked at his stats in the 103 games he played from 2007 to 13 and averaged it out. His average season stats during that year, during those 7 years, he had 1,445 yards rushing. He averaged 12.2 touchdowns a season, or every game he had an 80% chance of getting a touchdown. And he had 5 receiving touchdowns, which means in those 103 games, he had a 4.85% chance of getting a receiving touchdown. So that's what I'm going to go with this season. He's going to rush for 1,445 yards in 2014. And each game he plays in, he has an 80% chance of getting a rushing touchdown and a 4.85% chance of getting a receiving touchdown. And I used it based upon the calculator that I made for my football leagues on Excel. So I think the Vikings would win all the 7 games they did with AP. I can't imagine how they're going to lose these games with an even better player, so they're going to win those games still. In the games that they lost, though, I did the calculations of him adding a receiving and a rushing touchdown if it happened, based on the calculator, random chance, of course, if it would help the Vikings. And, of course, they got blown out by the Patriots in Week 2, so there was no way they were going to win it. Even if he got the touchdowns and the 2-point conversions, they still would have lost. Then the Saints won. They did, in my randomizer, get the rushing touchdown, but not the receiving touchdown, so they would still lose. But after that, every game that they had were down by a touchdown, he got the rushing touchdown. So because of that, the Vikings incredibly improved to 12-4. I don't think they would be that good, but hey, that's what my random generator kept giving the predictions to be, so that's what I'm going to go with. And that actually has massive implications because now the Vikings have first round bye instead of the Packers, as the Packers fall to the 5th seed and the Cardinals fall to the 6th seed, and the Lions now miss the playoffs. And in my original theory, the Vikings went 10-6 and still missed the playoffs, but with this a little bit more detail into it, they managed to make a difference as they go into the playoffs. But now, what would happen in the playoffs, though? Well, I think the Packers would beat the Panthers and the Cowboys would beat the Cardinals, so the Vikings now host the Cowboys. Now, I compared Aaron Rodgers' stats to Teddy Bridgewater and the Vikings' stats for how they would play in this game compared to the Cowboys. And remember, Aaron Rodgers had 3 touchdowns in that game, and the Packers won at 26-21. Teddy Bridgewater only threw 14 touchdowns to 12 interceptions that game, so he had, if it was an 88% chance of throwing a touchdown, which he did, Teddy Bridgewater did with my random drawing, but they would still be down 2 touchdowns. So AP would go for the rushing touchdown, and he would get it, which is good, because now the Vikings would only be down 21-19, but then they had to go for the 2-point conversion. I couldn't find any stats on whether or not how successful the 2014 Vikings were at converting 2-point conversions, but I did found a site that actually listed all the 2-point conversion percentages since the NFL had them in 1994, and it turns out in 2014, 48% of 2-point conversions were successful. So I went with that, and it actually drew it. So the game was tied up. But then when going for the receiving touchdown, AP could not get. So the game went into overtime. And I think the Cowboys were just a better team. And the Vikings offense, even with AP, probably would not be able to get it in the end. So I think the Cowboys would still win it. Which would then set it up the Cowboys at the Seahawks in the conference championship. Now remember, the Cowboys beat the Seahawks that year up in Seattle. And remember, that was the game where Russell Wilson threw 4 interceptions, and they were down 19-0, I think it was at one point, to the Seahawks, and they were like so bad. So bad. And that was also despite the fact that they made Aaron Rodgers look bad too, because they really did a good job, the Seahawks, twice at not shutting down Aaron Rodgers, but they almost choked it in the conference championship. Now, of course, Romo, they could maybe do that too, but I'm not so sure about that, especially since they did beat them that year, whereas the Packers did not beat them up there that year. And, of course, the Cowboys have DeMarco Murray. So I think the Cowboys actually could win it this time once again. So that would mean Super Bowl 49 is the Patriots and Cowboys now. So I had to replace Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch's stats with Tony Romo and DeMarco Murray's stats for the regular season, since they didn't play in the Super Bowl, of course. And Romo that season threw 2.26 touchdowns a game with only a 60% chance of throwing an interception. So he would at least throw 2 touchdowns, which Wilson did in that game. But when he had a 26% chance of throwing a third touchdown, he didn't make it. But he had the 60% chance of throwing the interception, which of course Russell threw that one at the end of the game. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, it did happen. So with that, the game would very likely end the exact same way how it ended. The Patriots still win 28-24. And that is how this theory would end. But hey, it's just a theory, an NFL theory. Thanks for watching. It was a short one. I had to redo it, of course. I redid it all today so I can get ready to go do a Riggs or Rod's fun run tonight, which I hope to do. But the next one, oh boy, it's going to be a very interesting one that no one's ever talked about, I think. And it's going to be a long one. I can't wait to see that. So, see you guys next time.